Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the finale for the season number 27 of the P2 tier for One Hub Racing. My name is Jacob, of course, taking you guys throughout the entirety of the season, and joined alongside me for the final time for this evening. Jamie, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. And yeah, looking forward to this championship battle, championship decider. And yeah, it's going to be a great one and on a great track as well. A track that's brilliant for racing, so it should be fantastic.
I agree. It should be very, very fun to watch. If you hadn't just caught the P3 tier, it was definitely a lot of carnage and chaos, and I'm hoping for something very similar in the P2 tier tonight, just to give us an absolute thriller to end the championship. Of course, you've probably heard about this multiple times already. Only 2 drivers remain in this championship, separated by 5 points. That's between Morgan and Papa Squanch. 5-point deficit, both securing Morgan has 5 wins, Papa Squanch has 4 wins, both picking up 3 and 4 wins in a row to solidify themselves for this final fight of this championship. Of course, it'd be rude to not kick off with talking about these two here as well, Jamie. I mean, what a season they've both had. It's been very sort of even in terms of their qualifying, their race, their points, podiums, wins, everything. It's been very, very even between the pair of them. It's been constant back and forth throughout the entirety of the season.
Yeah, it's been incredibly close. Obviously, there's been the points every race this season. Obviously, they have done a lot of wins and a lot of podiums, and the main difference is that mainly I think Morgan, when he hasn't won, he's had more like second places and third places. I think that's just a slight difference, and all it takes is a couple of second places, and it's like 3 or 4 points advantage. But yeah, it's been very tight, hard to tell. I have to say, Papa, the first 3 races looked like he was about to run away with it. As Morgan had a third, a 12th, and a third, and then a 5th in round 5. But I have to say, from Spa onwards, he's just been incredible, and he's only dropped. He's not been off the podium since then, and he's only the 2 races off the races he hasn't won was the 2nd and the 3rd. So he's been near perfect this run, and to say he's just clutched out at the right time, and that move in Kota was a massive 6-point swing towards Morgan, and that's why he's leading the championship coming into this final round.
Yeah, it certainly was, and obviously I don't think it helped with the 2 Mercedes last week out in Mexico. It's going to be very sort of close. Obviously, Solao and Jacob, 1st and 3rd last week at Mexico, putting a spanner in the works between the 2 championship protagonists. Of course, Solao was trying to keep his way in the championship, but unfortunately had just dropped out of that. He's 25 points behind Morgan, so he's not able, or he's not mathematically in it anymore. Had he won last week, he would have literally been on it by 20 points. So, yeah, very unfortunate for him, but yeah, just shy of it. 3rd place in the championship, though. I don't think he can be disappointed whatsoever with that. And as I say, considering that his only positions that he's finished was 4th and 2nd, other than the last 2 races, it was literally been a 4th and 2nd show for Solao. And again, he might even try and look at going for the win for this evening. Other standings really quickly, just whilst we're going through it. Larkin in 4th, again solidified in 4th position. Can't catch up to 3rd, and 5th cannot catch up to him, so 4th place for Larkin. Again, I don't think he called that a too shabby of a season for himself. Rich is in 5th with 72 points. Phaged in 6th with 64 points. Mikey in 7th with 56. Jess in 8th with 45, Cam in 9th with 42, and Matthias aka Mokui in 10th with 38 points to his name. So there's definitely all still to play for that 5th position. Phaged, Mikey, both well within their right of being able to try and get 5th. But from the practice that I was in earlier, Jamie, Rich is looking very quick here and is looking to try and solidify the constructors for the Williams.
Yeah, he just looked really good. He's got some good quality pace. He's had good pace all season, but it just hasn't come together for him. Obviously, he did cross line first in Monza, but he had a 10-second speeding penalty. So yeah, this is a track that I think it's quite a traditional track, and I think he does well on the more traditional tracks, a bit more experience, and yeah, he's a guy that could look out for. So obviously, there's only an 11-point lead gap in the constructors. So yeah, Williams could do with Rich having a strong race tonight and just help solidify that championship if they can't secure the drivers. At least they'll get the constructors' crown.
Yeah, they certainly can. It's 11 points deficit between the Williams and the Aston Martin. It is a 2-horse race between those two now. I say Williams leading by 11 points ahead of the Aston Martins. Morgan and Mikey have got to, Mikey especially has got to try and pull something out of their bag this evening. Considering there's only 13 drivers in the P2 tier for this evening, I'm assuming both of the Williams, both of the Aston Martins, as long as they don't crash, would be picking themselves up some points this evening. It's just depending on who is going to finish where out of those second drivers. And as I say, Rich, in my opinion, looks like he could be a race winner for this P2 tier for this evening at Brazil. It's just how quick he has been in the practice sessions. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go down. As I say, we are in that final race of the season around Brazil, and I think this is Brazil as a finale race. Always love it. I think it definitely provides one of the best tracks. It's definitely one of the best tracks for racing, in my opinion, in real life and in the F1 game. And I think this is going to be an absolute thriller here, Jamie.
Yeah, it should be a good one, and I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we're such a small, short track. I expect to have a really tight grid, and that'll make the racing very, very bunch up together. And yeah, so there's a lot of overtake opportunities around here, especially into turn 1. CRS and down into turn 3 and turn 4 as well. So yeah, we see a lot of passing on there, and it's a track where the strategy will be interesting because there's several strategies you can run in the race. It's not just a one strategy fits all. So that'd be great to see as well. As yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, certainly am. I think, as you were saying, there's a few tracks like Mexico last week. You had a few where people will go on the medium, start on the hards. Hard, medium, hard, that kind of thing. Brazil, literally, any tyres are pretty decent, even the softs. So soft tyres are definitely usable around this circuit, and I do expect a few of these guys to either be starting or in their middle stint be going on the soft compound of tyres. So yeah, there's definitely a plethora of strategies that can go down for this evening, and I think, as I say, we're looking very much forward to it. And also, as a bit of good news, we haven't got to worry about any car wear penalties. There's no engine, no gearbox penalties this evening, so it makes it easier for not only for ourselves but for Jess as well when she sets the grid up. She doesn't have to try and calculate who is going to be starting where. Wherever they qualify, that's exactly where they're going to be starting for this evening. But I've heard in the grapevine that there is a couple of people that haven't properly taken their gearbox and engine penalties, which we're not going to find out until Thursday, apparently.
No, that's the Stewards coming. They'll be getting pretty hefty points deductions. So yeah, watch out for that. And yeah, I'm not going to give anything away because I know who they are, but I'm not going to give any away because it won't be fair on anybody else. So yeah, the drivers themselves will know who they are because they haven't put them in, but
yeah,
with the rest people won't know. So yeah, so watch out for that, and I'm not going to give anything away, so I'll keep sure about that now.
Well, if it helps for the other people, I don't actually know who it is either, so I will also be finding it out during the week, which is going to be very interesting. But without further ado, we'll get ourselves over into the final qualifying session for the P2 tier for this evening, and we have got Morgan, currently our championship leader, sitting on the top of the standings, and Papa Squanch, the other championship protagonist, sitting down in 6th position. Not a very good start for the Williams man. He definitely needs to try and make more of an improvement on that time.
Yeah, he needs to be in the front 2 rows, and ideally on the front row. He can't probably be 6th going in turn 1 because it's not going to be good speed for him. And if Morgan's on pole by 3 tenths, and that's quite a good sign for the Aston Martin man. And yeah, Papa half a second behind. He needs to find something. He needs to get in them 107s minimum. Because yeah, that's not good to see for him. As he had quite a poor race last week, and he won't want to end this season on the whimper.
No, I completely agree with that. So we'll see how Papa Squanch does get on. Hopefully makes an improvement on his qualifying run. But at the moment, right on board with Jess as she's just going through the end of the first sector, nearly 2 tenths up on her time, as she's now making her way through turn number 4 and through turn number 5, of course, the double left-hander, and then coming up towards the top of the right-handers over here. It can be very easy to go wide and validate on your time. Can also be very easy to lose it because of the speed that you're going at. It can be a bit of a tricky corner, and especially the next left-hander as well. If you get a bit too early on the throttle, your car is going sideways, but she keeps it on very nicely throughout this second sector, the tight and twisty section of the circuit. And the time is actually, she's down, unfortunately, 0.04 of a second is the Red Bull driver, but she's now making her way up towards the line. Needs to be using as much of that ERS as possible. DRS now wide open for her lap, and actually she peels it straight into the pits. Wasn't looking to make more of an improvement on her time, so remains in P9. I thought earlier Jess had said that a teammate wasn't going to be here, but Larkin is here for Brazil.
Yeah, obviously he wasn't going to be here for Qatar either, but he saw the weather forecast and changed his plans, and yeah, it seems like Larkin makes a habit of this. Obviously it's impossible for him to get third in championship, but he'd be looking to maybe try and help Red Bull try and improve their standing in the constructors, maybe try and get the top 3 in the constructors. Maybe that's his thinking here, which is the 37 points behind Mercedes, so that is theoretically possible, but it will require a double DNF for Mercedes and a 1-2 for Red Bull with a fastest lap. So it is possible, but highly unlikely.
Yeah, mathematically it is possible, but yeah, I think it's going to be it's a massive struggle for the Red Bulls to try and get anywhere higher than 4th position. I think they're not under threat from dropping down to 5th. The RBs are 70 points behind them, so yeah, I think Red Bull for sure 4th place solidified. I think Mercedes are pretty much going to be solidified in 3rd place. It's the top for the constructors and the top, of course, for the standings. Morgan, by the way, did not make any improvement on his lap time, so we're right on board with our other championship protagonist of Papa Squanch coming up towards the end, or come through the middle of the second sector. He was just shy of a 10th up on his time, but he needs to try and find more of an improvement than just a 10th of a second to have a shot at battling not only his teammate and Salah, but of course his championship rival as he makes his way up towards the end of the second sector. A 10.5 up on his time. It shows us a purple second sector, which is very interesting, but a 10.5 will jump him up at least ahead of Jacob, but he needs to do more. He needs to do more in this final sector, and into the pits he actually peels in as well, so not going to improve on his lap time at all. Is Papa Squanch 6th place is where he remains.
Very peculiar coming to the pits. Maybe feels like he hasn't got enough time to do 2 runs there, but yeah, unless he made a mistake. But it didn't look like he made a mistake on the hill. That's very weird to pit there, but maybe he felt like he's going to improve. Maybe he felt like it wasn't really going enough to justify staying out. So we'll wait and see if that plan works out for him. As Larkin has moved 8th place, he's on the 108.444, so he's jumped ahead of Cam there into 8th.
Yeah, very good time from Larkin for sure. Up into 8th position, say up ahead of the McLaren of Cam. Needed to try and get maybe a couple more positions on that again, just to try and throw a bit of a spanner in the works. Of course, Kinney and Mr. Zonta, when they moved up from the P2 tier, have definitely thrown a spanner in the works, and same with Jacob from moving up from P3 to the P2 tier. I mean, Jacob picked up his first win last week out in Mexico, so yeah, he's going to look to try and get a second win for this evening on the Mercedes, just to solidify 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. I mean, same thing goes for Mercedes. They've still got an opportunity of getting 2nd place in the standings. They're 31 points behind the Aston Martins, so they're not able to win the Constructors, but they have still got the chance of cutting the Aston Martin from that 2nd place to 3rd place, if of course both Aston Martins also DNF here.
Yeah, so it's all to play for. Obviously, again, it's a bit of a better chance than Red Bull have, but again, it does require possibly a double podium from them. But yeah, it is theoretically possible. As Morgan's on lap in, he's a 10th up in Sector 1, purple sector, so Morgan's looking to lower that benchmark even further.
Yeah, he certainly is. So let's see what he's going to do in this second sector alone. Of course, as you say, 10th up on that first sector showed as a purple sector 1 for our championship leader. We are going to be crowning the championship tonight. It's the last race of the season. If you are just tuning in, Morgan versus Papa Squanch for this title. First at the moment versus the man in 6th position. Both wanting to try and put a lap of dreams on the board. Morgan up towards the end of the second sector is doing just that too, and a bit tense up on his time. A 107.4 this might even get towards for Morgan. And I'll be honest with you as well, Jamie, this might even be the quickest time we may even see tonight, even with guys in the P1 tier. As he goes up to the line, it's a 107.5 for Morgan.
Yeah, very good lap there. 107.5, incredible lap there. And that, yeah, that would definitely contend for a pole in the P1 tier, I reckon. That's a great lap there. And that has just that has just shattered the morale of all these 12 other drivers, I have to say. That has just shattered the morale.
Yeah, it certainly has. So let's have a look and see if anyone's going to be looking to contend to beat that one. Rich being one of them. He is on a lap at the moment, coming through that second sector, coming down the hill towards the end of the second sector split. 18 thousandths of a second up on his time. So we'll look to make an improvement. Wants to try and go up ahead of Kine, as Kine has actually just come across the line to chuck it up into second place himself with the 107.849 as the kick Sauber. Rich going to look to try and dethrone him with that. Up towards the line, 107.805 does dethrone Kine from that front row back up onto second position for Rich 500. Both of the Mercs are also currently out on a lap. Jacob, for some reason, is on a set of mediums and has been validated on his lap time. So Salal, we'll see where he finishes up. And I think Mikey, oh no, sorry, not Mikey, sorry, it's Morgan that's just coming into the pits. But Salal, a tenth and a bit up on his time here, going to jump up ahead of both of the Kick Sauber and the Williams. He's had a very nice exit out of this final corner and up towards the line he comes. Of course, no ERS left for him to play with, but up to the line. So 107.868. No, he didn't improve, or he made an improvement.
Yeah, I think that battery killed him down the straight. He had no battery down for half that straight, so I think that's where he lost the time there. A bit better battery management, he would have probably been a 0.7 there, so that did cost him a front row, I reckon, there. So yeah, so we'll learn that lesson for his next lap and come on again as Papa Squanch has improved to 5th, but a 108.0, so he has improved to 5th, but still not ideal for him, as he's going to have one more shot at it to try and get into the front row of the grid.
Yeah, he certainly will. A 5th position for Papa Squanch. Not too bad, but he needs to do more to improve. As I said, there's no car wear or engine penalties this evening, so the guys here there's not going to be any grid changes or anything like that for this evening. It's wherever you qualify, that is where you are starting. At the moment, you know, 5th position, it's not going to be enough to try and beat Morgan. I mean, Morgan needs to, if he finishes on the podium with the fastest lap, he is champion. It's as simple as that. Papa Squanch would need to have the fastest lap and win the race if Morgan does finish 3rd. So yeah, at the moment, this championship is looking like it's going to go straight over to Morgan here.
Yeah, you have to say he's looking very strong favourite, but you know, that's why I do racing though, because you never know. You never know what may happen. That's why I do racing, because yeah, it looks very good for him at the moment, but anything can happen in these races. So wait and see what happens there. But yeah, Morgan, he's looking. He's got one hand on the title, I think, at the moment, but we'll wait and see though. See what Papa can do here. See if he can be in previous good position. As all the guys are in the pits now, we've got some guys coming out pits. We've got Sauber of Mwoki, I believe, coming out. So he's going to be the first guy. Oh, sorry, it's the Aston Martin, and Morgan is out first. So Morgan is going to set the benchmark first and see if anybody. See if he can lower his benchmark even further. See if he can get into a 0.4. That's a test for Morgan. See if he can get into 0.4s.
Yeah, let's see if he's able to improve on his time even more than a 107.546. He is 2.5 tenths up ahead of the next nearest person, being Mr. Rich 500. So yeah, we'll see if he's able to make more of an improvement on that 107.5. See if anybody else also behind is able to try and challenge Morgan, because at the moment he's just looking like he's in a class of his own in this qualifying session. So we're right on board with him. Morgan making his way up towards the line, you know, trying to get a bit more heat into his tyres as he comes up towards the line at the start. What will be his final lap in qualifying for P2 this evening. Coming up towards turn number 1, breaking it around the 50-metre board, down into 3rd gear. Try and get as early on the power through the centre S's as you can. Don't want to try and get too early on it though, because otherwise then your car will be squirming around. But now, of course, DRS wide open. A few cars coming out of the pits trying to stay out of the way of the championship leader. 500ths down on his time is the Aston Martin, but again, Sector 2 and Sector 3 is where the time can be gained. So let's see what Morgan's able to do in this second sector, if he's able to make more of an improvement. Downshifting it into 6th gear, coming up the hill with those double right-handers, down into 2nd gear through this corner as well. Short shifting it up into 3rd to get the traction, and especially through this the slow left-hander. Again, too early on the power, can chuck your car into the shadow realm, as everybody would like to call it. Now, up towards the end of the second sector split, Morgan, is his time looking like it's an improvement? It certainly is. It's a 10th up on his time is the Aston Martin, and now it is straight flat out all the way up towards the line. Morgan, he has led this championship all the way. Sorry, he hasn't led this championship all the way. He's only just taken back the lead of the championship, and he solidifies that even more in his qualifying. A 107.410 for the Aston Martin. Everybody has definitely got a task to do, especially this man on your screen right here that is trying to contend for this championship. So, what a good time that was.
Yeah, 4 tenths in a track like Brazil, a 76 second lap. That is quite incredible. As Jacob is 3 tenths up in the middle sector. So I don't think he's going to be enough for Paul, but Jacob may vault himself onto the front row here. Let's see what we can do here. This could be a 7.7, I reckon, if he gets a good last sector here. He's just got enough battery, I believe. He's just got just a battery, and he goes up to 5th. He lost a lot of time last sector there, but up to 5th place. And ahead of Papa, though, it's crucial ahead of Papa. So Papa has got another car in between Morgan and himself.
Yeah, he certainly does. I think Solau was another one that is up on his time, a tenth and a bit up on his time. Kinney and Jacob have apparently collided to get a 5 grid place penalty. I think Kinney was actually about to start his final run. Jacob may have come back on track and hit each other. So I wonder if there's going to be a potential steward support at the very end of the this evening as
Solau,
up towards the line.
Solau.
Yeah, Solau, 107.5. Rich doesn't make an improvement on his lap time. One of the Alpines are coming across the line as well. Benjamin up to 12th place, just going up ahead of his teammate. Mokwe into the pits. I remember Mike is coming up to the line. 8th position for Mike. Decent qualifying time from him and jumping up ahead of Larkin.
Yeah, good job ahead of Jess as well. It's decent up there by Mike. I think Larkin he's on a better lap, so Larkin may jump up. We'll see what Papa can do. Cross line now. Can he go jump the grid up into 5th? So basically going to be 5th on the grid for Larkin. And yeah, that's a great effort there by Mike. Larkin cross line into 8th. So Mike's 9th, Cam is in 11th, and I believe that's qualified done as Kinney and Jacob are not on laps. So Morgan on pole with Salau. Pulled out the back there for 2nd on the grid, but look at that. It's 4 tenths. The front row is 3 tenths quicker than the guy in 3rd. It's quite a big gap considering Brazil's such a short track.
Yeah, it certainly is a big gap for sure. 10th and a bit up ahead of Solau, and then 4 tenths after that with Rich in 3rd. Yeah, Kinney completely missing his front wing. I think him and Jacob did come to blows as Kinney was starting his final lap. I think Jacob came back onto the racetrack in the path of Kinney, and that's the best that he's going to get, his 4th position, Jacob in 6th. So I wonder if the stewards are going to get involved pretty much right now to see if Jacob's going to get a penalty or what, or if what's going to happen, see if they get sides for both Kinney and Jacob. But yeah, what a qualifying session that was. Mike up in 9th, by the way. I think it might be his best qualifying of the season so far. So you got to give him credit for sticking it in 9th, but that is advantage over to our championship leader of Morgan. And Papa squanching 5th. I think he's got a tall order to get up ahead of him.
Yeah. Mike had a really good qualifying in Spa, I think. But yeah, good effort from him is it got Morgan on pole, Solau in 2nd, Rich in 3rd, Kinney 4th, Papa in 5th, Jacob in 6th, Mikey 7th, Larkin 8th, Mike in 9th, Jess 10th, Cam 11th, Moki in 12th, and Welsh Benjamin rounds out our 13-man grid tonight. So yeah, 12 of these guys will score points. So I think it's real incentive to finish this race tonight. You would definitely score points. As I've had a look at the Spa qualifying results. Mike qualified 9th as well there, so he just matched his best qualifying result this season.
Yep, fair play, Mike. So matching his best qualifying result this evening in the final race. Better late than never, I suppose, for the Welshman. Let's see if he's able to get himself some more points as well. Again, there's only 13 runners, so if he doesn't pick up any points, I will be completely shocked. But normally around this time, we would just chuck our way onto the screen of where I would just be thanking each of the sponsors. But just because it's the final race of the season, and in case, for whatever reason, you guys don't tune into the P3 tier, you guys can have a look at what normally happens when we go when we're doing a jump between each lobby, because it is quite entertaining. And me and Jess had a little bit earlier to see if she's going to be the first one to retire out on the circuit, or if it's going to be somebody else. Take your bet now, really quickly, Jamie, whilst we're waiting. Who's going to be the first to retire in this Demolition Derby for the lobby switch?
I'll go with Cam.
With Cam. Okay. I reckon it'll be Solau. Let's have a look and see though. As the Demolition Derby kicks off It was Larkin.
It was
It's the
Larkin, yeah,
first one,
Larkin, yeah.
so
And
wants to get this
Mike was
one
close
straight
shortly
underway.
after, yeah. Definitely, yeah. We actually had a red flag in our dummy race in P3 today, because it was a bit weird. So we had Lawrence, who actually, I believe, won the P3 race, start on the grid by himself, a la Lewis Hamilton in Hungary in 2021. Just a fun fact for you there.
Nicely done. So, yeah, I say, in case anybody isn't aware as to what happens when we get the lobby restarts, that's what normally happens to begin with. So, yeah, I think very interesting to always showcase this. I think Jess is also going to do the same in the P1 tier. So keep an eye out for that. When P1 does, of course, commence at 7:30 p.m. UK time. Of course, still the drivers to be dealt with in P1 between Ben Mills and Kieran, and of course, constructors wise between three teams of Williams, Mercedes, and the McLarens of yours truly. So we'll see if us in the McLarens can try and actually get this one in the P1 tier.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what happens there. Yeah, see, they got a good chance of that, I think, with Ben Mills maybe not racing tonight. And I've got breaking news from the stewards. Jacob and Kinney will be starting in their grid positions they did in qualifying. So the 5-place grid penalties have been cancelled by the stewards. That is the benefit of the lobby restart. We can cancel stuff like that in between the races.
Good, that's good to see. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see who is going to finish where and see if Morgan takes the win this evening and takes championship, or if Papa Squanch will be able to try and get something going and try and best Morgan. But the thing is, even if Papa Squanch does finish first, it would then require Morgan to finish outside of the top three for him to, for Papa Squanch to then go ahead and win the championship. So, yeah, all to play for in this final race of the season. I've got just one answer, Jamie. Who's taking it?
Morgan.
You know what? I'm going to agree. It's a bit boring, but I'm going to agree. I think Morgan has just been that much more consistent this season. Not to say that Papa Squanch hasn't been, but I think Morgan's just been that much more consistent in comparison to his championship rival. And I think Morgan is going to be the one that takes it this evening. But I think Papa Squanch is definitely going to give it a good go for sure. I definitely think he's better in the race in comparison to qualifying. So, but then again, so is Morgan, in my opinion. So I think Morgan is going to take it, but I don't think it's going to be very easy for him to do that. And let us know in the chat who you think is going to take it this evening. Is it going to be more? Are you Team Morgan or are you Team Papa Squanch? So, yeah, let's have a look and see who will be the championship winner for this evening and who will be the constructors' title winners as well. As I say, it comes down to both Rich and Mikey to see how they also do in their performance this evening. Whilst we are waiting, of course, for the race to start, just go for our sponsors for one final time this season. Of course, starting off with Next Level Racing for providing prizes at the very end of the season. And there will be a end of season talk show, I think Friday or Sunday next week. It'll be confirmed a bit later on, but it'll be one of those 2 days, so keep an eye out for that. To see who will win a few of these prizes that we normally mention in the sponsor side of things. So yeah, big shout out to, of course, Next Level Racing for running prizes throughout not only this season but through the past few seasons as well. Our next sponsor being, of course, Sim Racing Setups, the new partner for this season for providing pro setup bundles for F125, offering dry, intermediate and wet setups. I also have two different types of setups, which includes safe setups and esports setups. Also providing strategy tips and track map on when to use the RS during qualifying. So, of course, big shout out to them, and you can use code 1HubRacing to get 5% off of their setups. Next partner being your Sim Gear. They sponsor the league by providing sim racing socks and gloves to the driver. with the most fastest laps and pole positions over the course of the season. You can use code OHR10P to get 10% off on their sim racing socks/gloves. Second to last partner being, of course, Vespertine, being the support our official apparel and provides some great merchandise prizes. And then, of course, our final sponsor being over at SimGrid. Without them, we'll be using a load of Google documents, a load of Google spreadsheets, a load of Excel spreadsheets, which just makes things confusing for the admins, for the drivers, anybody that wants to look at it. With SimGrid, it's all there into one place. So a big shout out to all of our sponsors for this evening. And I believe we have been joined by a special guest, Mr. Colin R. Mason. Colin, how are you doing?
Special being the optimum word. Just a little info for everyone on the stream. So the stewards had a quick conversation then regarding Kinney and Jacob, and we will be removing both Jacobs and Kinney's 5-place grid penalty. So Jess will rearrange that as she's doing the grid. So they'll both be removed.
Good stuff, good stuff. Thank you very much for that, Colin, for confirmation of that. And I will also just say best of luck tonight, and hopefully you don't beat me in the P1 too.
Thanks, Jake. All good luck. So advantage Morgan. Have a great race. Good luck to everyone, and I'll speak to you soon.
Give us one quick one, Colin. Who is it? Papa Squanch or Morgan?
I think Papa is going to have a bit between his teeth, and I think he's going to sneak it.
Ooh,
I've changed my mind. I was Morgan this morning. I'm Papa now.
Okay. So you got it here first. Colin reckons Papa will get that one in the end. As I say, let us know in the chat who you think is going to be. Colin, thank you very much for that one. We appreciate you. And I say good luck for this evening, my friend.
Cheers all. Take it easy, both.
So, as I say, whilst we're waiting for the race to commence, we've got the grid up and running. So we're just waiting for Jess to give that go ahead to start the actual session itself. Give us a favourite moment from your season here, Jamie, because as I said, we're at the end of it now. What's been your favourite moment of the season for the P2 side?
It's very interesting. There's quite a few. I would say I was a big fan of Larkin's final few laps at Qatar. It was so close to win, but he was so rapid in the wet. Obviously going for moves but nobody expected it, and that was my big moment. He didn't win the race, but that was definitely the highlight of the season, seeing him make them moves, all them drivers, and he was a couple hundredths off winning the race at the end there. So I think Larkin at Qatar is probably my highlight of the season.
Fair enough. I'm probably going to have to say mine would be when we were racing at Imola, and I think it was where the top 3 or 4 guys, I think it were, all battling for the race win, and it was just being extremely close between everybody there. And of course, I think it was Morgan that ended up taking the win in the end with that, but it was not an easy one. The 2 championship rivals were going at it tooth and nail. Same with Spa as well. Both of them, them races, I think, will be my favourite moments from this season. The 2 championship protagonists going at it. The same with, I think it was in Kota as well, both doing the same thing. So I'd love to see that those 2 are racing. I said I'm sure they'll probably be in the P1 tier next season, along with a couple others from the P2 tier. And look forward to seeing what they can do, not only in this final race this evening, but of course going forward as well. So yeah, we are now, of course, just loading into the session. Whilst we are getting that session underway, we did ask a driver in the media, being Mr. Ivor Bryn Mike, and he said, "Have you enjoyed racing with respected teammates this season? Is this the last goodbye, or will you look to race his teammates again next season?" And he's just to start off with, would like to apologise to Welsh Benjamin. "I've not been a good teammate this season due to my lack of effort." That was it. He didn't say if he looked like he was excited to race with him next season. Just wanted to apologise.
He's honest. Got my honesty. Got my honesty. That's good to see. Yeah, obviously it's not. Obviously, when you get to a bad start season, it is hard. I've had it in the past. You get a bad start season, it is quite hard to stay motivated for the rest of the season. But yeah, he's still turned up though. He's trying to have fun. And yeah, obviously with a depleted field tonight, it's a good chance for him to get a decent result. So wait and see how he does with a not too bad grid like for the grid.
Yeah, exactly. Ninth position for the Welshman, looking to try and make one final good race for this season in the P2 tier. And in case anybody was oblivious to where Mike was sitting about 3 or 4 rounds ago, he was sat on negative points. So I will never stop reminding him of that, I'll be honest with you. Until I'm blue in the face, basically. I think Mike is going to be reminded of the fact that he was on net minus points for a long, long time. So yeah, it's nice to see that he's obviously off of them now. He sat with. I'm just going to have a look exactly how many points he's on. I think he's on like 3 points. Where is he? Yeah, 3 points to his name. So, yeah, unless he someone picks up minus points this evening and probably be one of the first drivers in One Hub history to finish with negative points, then yeah, I think I hope to see him have a good result for this evening. I expect him to have a decent result at least and pick up a couple of extra points for this evening. Yeah, you reckon Morgan's going to win this race this evening, Jamie, or do you think Papa wins it, or somebody else wins it this evening?
I think I'm going to think Salah might win the race, and I think Morgan will finish second and win the championship. I'm just saying that because I want Salah to win a race eventually, because he's had so many podiums. It's incredible the amount of podiums had in One Hub and not won a race. So it'd be great to see him finally get that monkey off his back and win a race. But we'll wait and see though. But yeah, I think Morgan has to be the favourite of both. But I'd love to see Salah win. But yeah.
No, I'd like to see Salah have a win, but I think from where he's actually qualified, I actually think Mr. Rich 500 is going to do a solid in the Williams and actually win this evening. First win of the season, it will be quite nice to solidify 5th position in the standings. I think he will be the one that takes it for this evening. So, Jess has given the ready up. We are here now, waiting for the 5 red lights to go ahead for the final race of the season in the P2 tier. Is it going to go over to Team Morgan, or is it going to go over to Papa Squanch? Is it going to be the Williams, or is it going to be the Aston Martin? Constructors wise, who wins? We've got 36 laps to find that one out as the 5 red lights are on for the final time this season, and we are underway. Solau getting a very good start to begin with. Morgan though looking like he's going to be able to try and cover off Solau at the very start into turn 1. Manages to hold on up ahead. I think there might be a bit of decent because Cam is saying, or is apparently saying, that Cam is in the lead of the race and a few drivers have gone off. Don't know if they've had collision with Cam or what, but we go on until we're told otherwise. Morgan leading this race at the moment. Solau in second. Papa Squanch jumps up to 3rd position up ahead of Kinney and Jacob. And in fact, Jacob getting a move done on Kinney for 5th position. So Kinney's now down into 5th. Not a very good start from the Kick Sauber. Neither with Rich. Rich has already jumped down into 6th position himself as well. So not a good start for both the Kick Sauber and the Williams. And in fact, Larkin's now getting the move done on Rich for 6th position. So starting on the sauce of Rich has not worked out a treat for him.
No, it didn't. No, definitely not. He's jumped down the field. There's Kinney. It's on the hard tyres, interesting enough. And Morgan leads on the mediums. Like on the mediums. And yeah, Rich is just he's down the order. Cam's on the back of him now. So yeah, Rich not a great opening lap there. Papa Squanch though up to 3rd, but he's got to try and keep them lead too. As Morgan is broken DRS already. The DRS will be in play down the 2nd pit straight.
Yeah, it certainly will do, and I know that these softs, usually they'll start to be a bit better in the 2nd lap. So let's see if the soft runners are going to be able to get back into the DRS of Morgan as they make their way in towards turn number 1 at the centre S's. Jacob all over the back of our championship protagonist of Papa Squanch, trying to chase down Morgan. 2.2 seconds separating the 2 championship contenders. And I think Papa is now going to be under threat from Jacob. Jacob's going to use his ERS down towards turn number 4. He's going to hold it down the inside of the Williams. Not going to go for the move though. And Papa Squanch manages to hold on up ahead. But this is now allowed Solau to then jump or get out of the DRS detection from Papa Squanch, and he's now trying to chase down Morgan to get his way back into the DRS. He was saying that Solau was going to be the winner for this evening and Morgan in second. At the moment it's looking like it's going to be the other way around, but of course we're only on the 2nd lap, and once we start to see them on the same tyres is when we're going to actually see who will be where towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. Solau just can't get quite in the DRS here. It's a good exit. It might be in it here. No, not quite, but they're starting to pull away from Papa. Papa's got Jacob and Kinney. So Kinney and the hard tyres doing a great job in 5th. Obviously, he did have the best opening lap, but he's now getting up the temperature a bit, and now he's back in play as Jacob easily overtakes Papa. Now Kinney's got to be inside here. Obviously, Papa with no DRS. Kinney got to be inside here, but it was on the curb. They had to back out of it there. That allows Papa to stay ahead. He will now have DRS to defend and attack.
Yeah, it certainly does, and now Larkin's going to look to try and put the attack on Kinney on that kick sour. 4th, 5th position with Kinney just putting his nose up on the inside into turn 1. It's now allowing Larkin to try and see if he can go for it. Kinney goes a little bit wide out of turn 4, gets a bit out on the exit of the circuit, and it allows Larkin to then go up into 5th position. So basically what Kinney had done, and he's now tried to dive it up the inside of Larkin through the double right-hander, the fast double right-hander. That's not where you want to be sending it. It's now allowed Rich to then go up ahead of Kinney, and Kinney's had a spin out of the exit of turn number 7 as well. So Kinney getting very audacious with it, and it's just not worked out for him whatsoever. I think he got a bit too audacious with that on those hard tyres. He needs to try and play the long game on those hards, but in fact he's tried to do the opposite and try and absolutely send it, and it's not worked out for him whatsoever.
Yeah, to overtake middle sector it is possible, but you've got to be sure about it, and you got to make sure you don't risk it. So Lewis out there, it was never going to work, and he's come out worse for it, but he's still crucially within the back of the pack here. He's still in the DRS train, but he's just at the back of it now. So Jacobs now pulling away from Papa, and Papa just doesn't seem to have the race pace of the front 3 at the moment. It's Larkin on the medium tyres now is looking all over the back of the Williams here, and this is not looking good for Papa's championship chances at the moment.
No, it certainly isn't, especially if you've got one of the other who was a championship protagonist all over the back of you. You know, seen what Larkin can do in this season as well. He's just plays a patient game, and it works out a treat for him. Of course, being on the harder tyre off the 2, he's sat literally in a Williams sandwich, and very nice helicopter shot going on of that. Sat in between the 2 Williams, who are both on a set of the soft tyres. His tyres are going to be a lot better, probably in the next 1 or 2 laps. Those softs in the first stint tend to go off around lap 5, lap 6. So I do expect Larkin to go for a move on Papa Squanch probably within the next couple of laps to get up into 4th position.
Yeah, that DRS down here, and the DRS is so powerful around here, but I think for him it's probably best to wait for the second DRS strike. So you get the move done in the ZRS, and the guy gets repassed here. But let's say Papa's in a great exit on last call here, and Papa not really. Papa's looking. It's got quite low wings here. His straight line speed looks quite good, which might explain why he's struggling so much in the midsection.
Yeah, he certainly could be, but also, as I say, those tyres might be starting to degrade a bit more for him there as this yellow flags towards the back. That's Kinney towards turn 1. I'm not sure what's happened with him there. I don't know if he just went deep or what, but he has had another spin, and he's now at the back end of the field. Another one that's at the back end of the field, very crucially for the constructors, is Mikey. Mikey down in 12th position, whereas the 2 Williams are 4th and 6th. So, as it stands, the Williams will pick up the constructors title if it remains this way, but I don't think it's going to remain this way. Papa Squanch has a bit of a squirm out of one of the corners, and Larkin trying to look like he's going to set up a move on Papa Squanch for that 4th position here, Jamie.
Yeah, he is, and this is going to be crucial for constructors, because I'd say if the Williams guys fall further down the field, and maybe on the threat, if Mike can just gain a couple of places, even get like a 7th or an 8th, then that's going to make this very, very interesting. Yeah, Larkin a lot closer than last time. This should be an easy move down the pit straight here with the DRS and battery and slipstream. You're going to get it done before the start and finish line, and it's going to be back on the racing line before the breaking point of turn 1. Now, what can Papa do? Can he get a good exit from here? Can he stay close to the Red Bull man? No, it's Larkin's good exit there, but Papa's still within range for an overtake here, I think, as Kinney just pit. See what he can do here, but no, Larkin gets good exit there, using a bit of battery to defend, and Larkin should be clear now.
We've got 2.8 seconds to try and catch up to the 2 Mercedes out in front of him. Larkin definitely looking on for a podium for the final race this evening. Jacob has gotten his way back into the DRS of his teammate as well. I don't know if Solau had slowed up a bit more to allow Jacob into the DRS, just to make sure that Larkin and Papa Squanch behind can't catch up to him. Of course, the Mercs are in with a shout for the constructor. No, they're not within a shout for the constructors. Sorry, they're sitting in 3rd at the moment. They have got the opportunity to try and get 2nd in the constructors, though. But where Morgan is at the moment, it's looking less and less likely. They've just got to hope that Morgan makes a massive mistake and ends up crashing, so that then both Solau and Jacobs, they finish at 1-2, and both of them Aston Martins have a bit of a stinker where Mikey is at the moment. Then they will end up 2nd in the constructors. But at the moment, Morgan doing a solid job out in the lead of the race on lap number 7 as Papa's in, and he gets a 10-second penalty for speeding. That might be the causality for Morgan to get this championship this evening. That 10-second penalty is going to be crucial for Papa Squanch now, and his title hopes are now fading away from the Williams. Oh no, it was Jacob. Sorry, I thought it was Solau. Yeah, Jacob has had a spin. Larkin now up into 3rd position. I don't know what happened with Jacob. I think he just got too much on the curve.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I saw 2 Mercedes very close into that corner there. I'm not sure if they had contact or not there, but yeah, Jacob's around, and yeah, that's a crucial mistake there, because Jacob had got the move done on Solau into that corner. I think Solau maybe had dares down the second straight between turns 3 and turn 4, but yeah, look at that there. Now Jacob's down in 10th place. He's not too happy about it, so I'm not sure if there was contact or not there, but that just allows Morgan to even further pull away. He's got a 5-second lead, and now Solau, I'm sure he has to come this lap because them tyres look shot.
Yeah, I'd be expecting the Mercedes man to make his way into the pits. No, he doesn't. He actually opts to stay out another lap. Larkin is just closing up at a rate of knots. He's now only 1.5 seconds behind the Mercedes. Mokri into the pits. Sorry, no, it was not Mokri. It was Cam. Sorry, Cam making his way into the pits, and same with Jacob. Yeah, it was expecting Jacob to come into the pits if it wasn't going to be Solau. So yeah, Jacob into the pits, Cam into the pits. Cam going on a set of mediums. Jacob, I do expect to also be doing the same, going on a set of the medium tyres. He certainly does. Where is he coming out in relation to Papa Squanch? I mean, Papa Squanch has jumped a pair of them quite nice and easily. So there's at least another position he's made up on Jacob. But of course, that 10-second time penalty is going to absolutely haunt the Williams man.
Yeah, I was just saying, once of that spin, Jacob could have been very close to Papa. But that spin has definitely played in the Papa's hands, but Jacob's still, I believe, within 10 seconds of Papa, so Jacob's going to have to get Papa's going to get his foot down here, because Jacob can still finish ahead of him just by staying within that range. So yeah, he's got to be careful. Solau will surely come in this lap, because he's done a good lap here though. Larkin's not really getting that much this lap, so Solau, he's limited damage a little bit here, but he has to come in now before the tyres go completely off the cliff, and yeah, he is in. I expect to see Rich in as well. He's recovered a bit from that terrible first couple of laps. He's balanced his pace out a bit more now, and I say maybe it's Rich. Rich is the guy who has to maybe help Williams with the constructors now, with Papa with that 10-second penalty.
Yeah, he certainly does. So Rich is now the sole person that needs to try and do whatever he can for the Williams boys. And as I say, he had a decent qualifying, so I expect him to potentially have a decent second stint here for the Williams. Of course, Papa Squanch has gone up ahead of his teammate Solau as well. Has gone up ahead of Solau as well. Solau's just coming out of the pit lane, and there is Papa Squanch just out in front of him. So yeah, he's had an undercut on him, but of course that 10-second penalty, that's just going to be looming over his head. And Rich, interestingly, has come out behind Cam. So Cam has managed to get an undercut on the Williams out in front of that was in front of him. I think you are on mute, Jamie.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. As I said, the undercut is extremely powerful on there. About 2 seconds, I believe, just over 2 seconds. One ahead of of Rich. So yeah, Cam's had a sneakily good season to say. He's been at the front of the midfield, and these front guys is Morgan pitched already. That's quite early for mediums, but Morgan, he's sort of in control. It doesn't matter what, he can do any strategy, and he's looking great at the moment. He's got a hard set of tyres, and a lot of these medium guys are pitting now, so the mediums aren't going up much further than the softs.
No, they certainly are. Very interesting that he has opted to go on a set of the hards. So Morgan going for the more harder strategy. Same with Mokwi, both of them making their way into the pits. Welsh Benjamin as well has also come in. So got to be thinking he's doing the exact same strategy as those guys as well. Where are they all feeding out into relation with everybody here? A Solau all over the back of Papa Squanch. I don't think this is going to be a pretty sight for the Williams as he's trying to hold it down the inside in towards turn 4. Both giving each other plenty of room to race one another through turn number 5. But Solau holding it around the outside there, using the ERS to just make sure he gets up ahead of the Williams, and up into 5th position he goes. Definitely needed for the Mercedes, definitely not needed for the Williams, because he's now down into 6th position and could be under threat from the rest of the guys behind with that 10-second time penalty. Morgan, by the way, has come out in 4th position on those hard tyres, still in the net race lead, and 4.5 seconds up ahead of Solau, which is absolutely massive for the Aston Martin. He is playing an absolute blinder as Larkin picks up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits as well.
Yeah, that's going to hurt his chances of the podium here, and that might help like Sir Rich and that might have like Sir Rich and Salah. That's a critical mistake. Obviously, this pit lane, it's so difficult. It's uphill. The line comes up quite quickly. It's so easy just to miss your braking point and get a penalty. And you've had two of the top guys do it. So if they can do it, anyone else can do it. As Mike comes out into the pits, comes out in 11th place. He'll have a nice battle with his P1 commentary partner, Jess. It could come out 11th. Could have had a Mikey, so Mike at the moment, we've got a cursor for him, but he's in good for points at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is. And Larkin has come out on a set of hard tyres in between both Rich and Jacobs. So he's come out in not too bad of a position, but that 10-second time penalty is going to also be looming over his head, just like it is of Papa Squanch's as well. The only thing I could be thinking, though, and the reason why she's probably stayed out, Jess, now only 1.2 seconds up ahead of Morgan, and she also has herself some wing damage on the front right end plate. Possibly going to try and help out her teammate, but she's given a DRS over to Morgan, and I get the feeling Morgan is going to get a move done on Jess very, very soon, unless she makes her way into the pits this lap.
Yeah.
She certainly does, so she cuts into the pits to get a change of tyres and possibly a change of front wing as well. Morgan has now built that gap up ahead of Solau by about 5.2 seconds.
Another thing that worked out over there, Morgan got a nice set of 3 DRS down the pit straight that will give him about 4 tenths a lap, so that's another thing that's working in Morgan's favour now, as Jess does indeed change her wing and she'll come out in last place.
Yeah, she certainly will. So yeah, see if Jess is able to try and make a few positions up. Of course, obviously with the people in front with the 10-second time penalties, you'd like to think she would make up a few positions from those, but again, it's her teammate and Papa Squanch Papa managing to hold on to the back of Solau, and as I say that, he's now in fact lost the DRS to the Mercedes out in front of him. So yeah, Papa really struggling around this circuit, and again, that title is just fading away from him every single lap that Morgan is in the lead, and he's gapping the guys behind him as well. So yeah, Morgan's doing everything he possibly can to make sure he wins this title this evening, and it's looking like it's going to be going to the way of the Aston Martin. But yeah, very unfortunate that Papa picked up that 10-second time penalty as well.
Yeah, that's sort of fortunate for him, as Larkin is all over the back of Rich here, and Rich is going to have DRS on Cam, so we may see a three-way battle here with the turn one, as Rich has had DRS. Cam is going to be a sitting duck, I'm afraid, for the McLaren man. Rich can go around the outside. Will Larkin follow? Larkin going to set up the inside here. Does he get the better exit? He's going to get around the outside. Rich squeeze off a little bit onto the gravel. He's going to have to back out of it there. Yeah, look, Larkin was off track there and had to back out of it there, and that's allowed Cam to keep 4th place somehow, them two scrapping, and that has allowed Jacob has recovered well after his spin, and he's back in the podium fight.
Yeah, he certainly is. He can at least get ahead of both Larkin and Papa Squanch. As Larkin going to try go around the outside of the double rights. He put a wheel onto the grass. He's had a half spin going through there, and I thought Jacob might have tried to send it on the Red Bull as well. I think he was probably trying to go around the outside of the Williams, but I don't think Rich was given that room, and that door was just shutting more and more. I think it was a bit audacious from Larkin to try and go for that. Don't know, we'll probably see a replay or something in the stewards potentially after the race, but yeah, I think that was a gap that was just closing for Larkin, and wanted to try and go for a move as soon as possible. But now second lot of DRS going to be underway for these three, shall I say, on the back of the McLaren. Cam in the net podium position, but it's about to be taken away by the other Williams, as Rich going down the inside of Cam in towards turn number 1. Cam just has to cede to the position, and Rich now up into a podium position once again, of course, with Papa Squanch's 10-second time penalty. And now Cam is going to be the one with the DRS on the back of the Williams. Are we going to see Cam go back for a move on the Williams? He certainly is. Going to try and opt to go around the outside of Rich in towards turn number 4. Bit of wheel bang in between the pair of them, but enough space given. And now Larkin's going to try and hold it down the inside of Rich. He took advantage of Rich making that mistake out of turn 4, and he gets the move done up into 5th position. Very bold from Larkin and very brave, but got that done in the end. He looked like he was desperate to get past the Williams and manages to get it done. He's now got to try and get past Cam and try and drive up the road.
Yeah, definitely. I thought Larkin was hitting me inside that corner there, but thinks better of it. Yeah, that's the problem doing the move in turn 1. Yes, but if you don't get the exit out of turn 2 outside the rest, you're going to be a sitting duck down the straight there. You lost 2 places there. Larkin, he tried that last lap, didn't work out from there, but it worked out a treat there. Larkin's going to easily pass Cam into 4th place, and he's got to try and just go flat out here, try and pull a gap and try and limit damage. His 10-second penalties, as he makes a late move there around the outside. Larkin gets moved on. Can he do a better job of an exit through turn 1 and turn 2 than Richard? We'll find out. Yes, he's a bit closer, but Cam is still in DRS range, but I think Larkin's got it covered. He had a good exit through turn 3, and Cam with DRS, he's very quick down here, got a goal on the outside, but I think Larkin should have his covered. Yes, he does.
Yeah, it shuts the door.
On the grass up there.
Yeah, he certainly shut the door on him there. So Larkin out in the 4th position. Very aggressive move from Larkin, but got that done in the end. Jacob was going to try and almost replicate what Larkin was doing, but Rich closed the door on him as well. So, yeah, very good, very intense battling for the 4 of them now, but Larkin out in the 4th position, and he's now going to try and chase down those guys out in front of him. Very interestingly, by the way, Morgan has now pulled a gap of 7.5 seconds up ahead of Solau in 2nd position, and Papa Squanch now 4 seconds behind Solau and is being closed up exponentially by Larkin. He's only now got the gap down to 2.8 seconds. It was about 3.8 or even 4 seconds at the start of this lap. So yeah, Papa Squanch really struggling around this circuit, and even gotten the DRS out ahead of Cam.
Yeah, and now Cam out DRS's defences from Rich. Now Rich gets moved done last time turn 1. Would he ruin this again? He's not the best run for this CNRS. I think Cam will repass him here, and Jacob may be under threat as Rich. He hasn't got much battery left to defend, so I think Cam is in a good position for the repass here. Now, will Rich defend on the inside? No, he doesn't defend the outside. Cam will send it down the inside. Rich is going to be on the outside, but I think Cam will get the move done as Rich is off the track there. Rich, I think he should wait, because he's getting the move done turn 1, but he's doing him no good at all. As Jacob's on the inside here, bravery by Jacob up into 6th place, and yeah, Rich has lost out 2 places by basically doing everything turn 1.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate for Rich there, but very good move from both Cam and from Jacob as well. Jacob needed to get that done again, just to try and help out in the constructors wise, because he can still go up ahead of Aston Martin, but the way it's going at the moment, to my knowledge, the Aston Martins might end up actually getting the constructors as well as the drivers' championship. It was an 11-point difference with Williams up ahead of the Aston Martins, but the way it's going at the moment, Rich is dropping down the order quite significantly as Papa Squanch is into the pits for the 2nd time now. Going to use that 10-second time penalty. Jacob goes down the inside of Cam. Don't know if he's going to hold it down the inside there, as Cam's going to try and swoop it around the outside in towards turn 2, but has to give that one up, and Rich is now all over the back of Cam. In fact, actually taps the back of the McLaren. A little bit of contact between them as well, and Rich has had a half spin. Again, I think that was from the contact between himself and Cam, and Rich is now down into 8th position, so it's even further down the grid for him.
It's all falling apart. I think at the moment, with these positions, I believe at the moment Aston Martin will take the constructors' crown with Rich in 8th and Papa in 13th. So Papa, he's on a set of hards to the end now. He's got to show some pace now, but got that 10 second out of the way. But Papa is a long way back. Look how far behind he is. He's way behind everybody else. So it's going to be difficult for him. Obviously, Larkin will be in a position when he pits, but he's going to have dead ties in the race. And you know, Papa is just not. He's just having 2 bad races at the worst possible time for him. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very bad time for Papa in terms of how he's racing at this current moment. As I say, the way that it's going to finish at the moment, Morgan will take the crown and the Aston Martins will take the constructors if it finishes the way that it is currently. But of course, Papa, the only one that's done his 2 stops so far. The only problem was that 10-second time penalty. It's where it's going to put him in relation to when everybody else makes their way into the pits, because at the moment he will go probably up into 10th position up ahead of Jess, at the very least, maybe, just maybe, up ahead of either Bryn Mike. But again, that's if Papa gets an absolute shift on the for these first couple of laps on the hard compounders tyres as a spinner. That is Benjamin.
Yeah, Welsh Benjamin in the wall out turn 4. Has he got damage? Yes, he's lost his front wing. So that does help Williams boys with Benjamin losing his front wing. So he'll drop to the back of the field. So that is good news for the Williams team. It's also good news for Mikey. It means Mikey will get a point. But I think it's better news for Williams, that spin.
Yeah, it definitely is better news for the Williams boys. Very unfortunate for the Alpine boys because they're running quite nicely in 8th and 9th at the moment, respectively. I say they're both looking to try and pick up a decent points finish for the pair of them in this last race. But unfortunately, Welsh Benjamin having that spin will probably drop towards the back of the field. So very unfortunate for him in that respect. yeah, I say very close battle going on still for this fourth position. Mokri has now joined the fray, and the battle between himself, Cam, and Jacob. And Mokri is looking the quickest out of the three of them at the moment. When I say that, Jacob had a very good run out of the centre S's, and so did Mokri. Are we going to see the Hungarian go for the move on the American up in front? I think Cam is just about going to be able to hold on up ahead of Mokri. Due to him still having the DRS on the back of Jacob. And in fact, I think Jacob is actually starting to struggle on these tyres a bit more. Him and Cam both been on them for 11 laps.
Yeah, there's 11 laps. It's all the first stint. The guys are pitting like lap 9, lap 10. These medium tyres are not much better than the soft round here. So, yeah, I expect these guys to be in. I expect to see these guys in. I'll probably have to go and set hards to the end. So that'd be interesting to see as Salau's now 11 seconds behind Morgan, which again shows how much struggle these mediums are to get to the end. As the hard tyre, people were slaying it early in the week, but as the weeks developed, the hard's become a much better tyre, I think. So at the moment, it looks like the soft and the hard are probably the two best race tyres from what I can see is Wilkie. Now, Cam not got DRS to sell out, is in the pits now for a set of hards to the end, I believe. And Wilkie and now Cam's in as well, so Wilkie doesn't have to get that move done. He'll have 3 DRS down the pit straight. Now, where will Salau come? Where's everybody else? He should come out. As either he might get a 10-second penalty, that's going to cost him a lot of points, and that is again another benefit to the Williams team. Ivory and Mike getting that 10-second speed penalty.
Not only a benefit for the Williams team, though, it's also a benefit for Mikey down in 9th position. Of course, he's when Mikey makes his way into the pits, he should still be within 10 seconds of Ivory and Mike. Only just, I would have thought. But Mike, again, needs to also do what Papa Squanch is doing and put on an absolute shift on these hard tyres to try and get that gap of the 10 seconds up ahead of the Aston Martin behind him. But yeah, Mike comes out in 12th position respectively, going to be well over 10 seconds up ahead of his teammates, so he'll be still within the points only just. But again, if he wants more points, Mike needs to put an absolute masterclass on, and as I say that, he picks himself up a 3-second time penalty, so even better.
I believe that's that first driver to get a time penalty for track limits. Kinney got one earlier.
Yeah.
So it's only a second driver to get paid track limits. On this game, it seems like it's a lot easier to avoid track limits. The last game, this track was an absolute nightmare for track limits, but this game it seems a bit better. But anyway, Morgan at the moment's got a 17-second lead on Larkin. Obviously, his main competitor. Well, I say competitor, not really competitor, but his closest guy is Salah pitted. So Morgan can just pit whatever lap he wants. He's in complete command of this race. And now, Wilkie, interesting enough, is starting to catch Jacob. He's done 13 laps on the medium tyres. So Jacob, after that spin, has recovered beautifully. But I think their medium tyres are desperate to call it a day because they'll be really struggling now.
Yeah, they certainly will. And I think as Papa Squanch picks up a 3-second time penalty now for his troubles, I think that is going to be championship over and done with for Papa Squanch. That 3-second time penalty, even if a safety car comes out, he's going to be well in the mud with that penalty.
Even if Morgan DNFC may not have enough points to overtake Morgan at the moment there. So yeah, it's going wrong at the wrong time there. And Salau, he's not going to get... Salau could be in the chance to maybe sneak second. We'll wait and see if that's a possibility. But yeah, Papa just having an absolute nightmare at the moment. He should still get second in the championship, but he don't make too many mistakes. It may open the door to Salau if something happens at the front.
Kinney having a spin out of what I normally say is the final corner, because the rest of it is just flat out. So yeah, Kinney now down into 9th position. Of course, he's one of the only ones that have also still yet to make a pit stop. Cam gets the move done on the kick Sauber, and Kinney into the pits for his second stop. He's done hard and a second set of hards now as well, so he's probably going to go on a set of mediums to go to the end. In fact, no, Kinney retires from the session, so everyone that now finishes will pick themselves up some points this evening, as Mikey is coming to the pits, come straight back out of the pits onto a fresh set of hards to go to the end. I think it is definitely doable to go on a set of mediums to go to the end now, but I don't know if Mikey's done 2 sets of mediums.
Yeah, because now we're in overcast conditions, which means the track temperature will drop, and that'll mean there'll be more grip, there'll be less tire temperature. So yeah, I think now this is the pit window for the mediums. I think Morgan will probably go on now with 14 laps to go. So see what he does in the pits now. What tyre will he go on for? No, set of hard tyres. So Morgan, he's loving the hards. He's obviously will stick the hard tyre strategy, and now he's on hards to the end. So yeah, Larkin's in as well. No, I reckon Larkin may go mediums here. Wait and see.
Jacob in as well, and Rich is in as well. So Mokri's going to inherit second position. Morgan will remain out in the race lead by about 9 seconds up ahead of the Kick Sauber, and Stolau 9 seconds behind Morgan after all of that as well. Sorry, it's only 6.5 seconds behind Morgan, but Stolau 9 seconds, of course, are probably on second position, or second place, shall I say. So yeah, very good work from Morgan to just get that gap even more to Stolau from, well, the overcut, shall I say, because Stolau, I think he was only about 8 seconds behind. So
it was about around 10 seconds, so he hasn't gained that much from it. So yeah, the undercut was what negated by Morgan, just pure pace. I have to say, Morgan at the moment looking set to win this race by about 15 seconds. At the moment, it's quite a dominant performance. At the time, he needed it to happen, and not really seen this season. Not really seen a driver dominate this season. This is the first time this season we've seen a driver totally dominate a race there. Salau, overtake Wilkie. I believe we'll be pitting anyway, but yes, he does. Does he pit? No, yes, he does. So Salau will get a bit of free DRS on the pit straight, and Wilkie will come in for a set of mediums. I think you pit now, you go mediums to the end.
Yeah, you certainly do. So Moki coming into the pits. Morgan, as I say, still in the race lead. Salau is in second. Jess in third. Cam will inherit fourth position up ahead of Moki as Jacob and Papa Squanch changing positions now for fifth in towards turn one. Papa Squanch hits the back of Jacob, trying to go for a bit of a switchback on the Mercedes, but the Mercedes planted it on the apex of turn one, and Jacob is now up into fifth position, trying to chase down Cam for what will be a net podium position. Jacob, of course, on a set of medium tyres as well, so he's going to look and try and get a bit on the aggression on the McLaren up in front.
Yeah, Larkin passed Rich in turn one, but Rich this time got him back into turn four, and Larkin actually, he broke a bit late there and tapped the rear end of the Williams. I think he's all right now. I don't think any harm done there, but Rich finally gets the benefit of that double DRS, and this time he actually works out for him up into 8th place, and now they're not far behind Mike, so they're both leapfrog Mike and penalties. Morgan sets the fast lap of the race at 109.8, and he's in complete command. There's a Cam at the moment. We've got a fight for the podium between Cam and Jacob will surely get his move done as Cam. He's struggling on hard for temperature at the moment.
Yeah, he goes a little bit squirrely and towards the final corner. Jacob, now with the DRS, is going to go for a rounding outside of the McLaren. Excuse me, up into towards turn one. Jacob now up into a net third position. Of course, Jess still yet to make her second pit stop, but Jacob is now up into a net third. Cam now down to net fourth, and Papa Squanch, of course, excuse me, with that 3-second time penalty, is going to be still under threat from the guys behind, especially when Rich and Larkin pass Iverbryn Mike with his 10-second time penalty.
Yeah, definitely. As big Rich will probably get past Mike in the next lap, as Mike doing a solid job in terms of pace tonight, but that 10-second penalty is going to kill him, and he should still bag a couple of points, but could be a lot better for him. As Jess will surely come in very soon, unless she's hanging out for soft. That may be a play for Jess here, maybe get a fast lap point. But yeah, Jess, I think we'll have to pit this lap. As them hards. Then go around 16, 17 laps, but it's not ideal to go that far on a set of hards. It's Jess, he's going to stay out one more lap, and I believe he's going for softs to the end now, I'm pretty sure of it. As Papa is very close to DRS of Cam, as Jacob now pulling away, and Jacob is looking good. A podium finish tonight on the better tyre, and he's got the track position now as Papa's done a pretty decent recovery job, I have to say, up into 6th, not far behind Cam, but the only problem for Papa is his tyres are going to be very old at the end of the race.
Yeah, they certainly will, and not only that, so his teammates. I mean, Rich is really struggling. He went very deep into towards turn one, got a move done on Iverbryn Mike. Mike not getting the move done on Rich, though, going through turn 4. And now Larkin's going to try and go for the move at the same place he did it on Jacob and gets that move done up into 8th position. So he now moves up into a nice 8th and wants to try and get the move done on Rich. Need to do a little bit of calculation, but the way that I'm looking at it, it might actually swing back in the favour of Williams for the constructors this evening. I think drivers, has gone to Morgan unless he makes a major mistake, but the constructors wise, it's looking a bit closer now.
At the moment, that's the mark. They're on 20. They're on 23 points with Morgan's fastest lap, and I believe the Williams boys 8 plus 6. They are on 12 points. So it's going to be very tight. Every position counts. You're just in the pits now. That's going to give the Williams boys another couple of points. As Jesse's going to be in the pits now for a set of mediums to the end, and Jesse's going to drop down to. I'm still going to be ahead of Mikey, so Jess pitting now helps Williams boys even further. And I believe if Williams stay in this position, they will just about hang on to constructors. But Larkin, he could be a threat. And also Woki, so it's not safe yet for Williams. They've still got to get to the end, and this is going to be very tight. It's going to come down to colour points.
It really is. If you were saying the way that it was just a second ago, if Larkin gets past both of the Williams, they'll be even on points on the constructors. So it goes. Does that go back and count back on the constructors wise? I don't know, because they'll both be on the same amount of points.
It's going to be good luck that the boys trying to work that out. And obviously Woki's not far behind either. And Woki at the moment is going to jump these guys on penalties. So as Papa Squanch has got to keep the pace up here. He's got a gap to Woki at the moment, but yeah, so Woki's going to go faster and faster his next few laps. So yeah, this is going to be very tight, and it would help if Rich could catch Cam. That would help, but Cam's got decent pace. Cam's looking solid in 4th place. Papa has got DRS on Cam, but Cam can afford to let the Williams through here as long as he doesn't get a penalty himself. So yeah, Papa's just got to go flat out and just hope he can pull a gap on the guys behind.
I'll tell you what's not working now is Rich is dragging the rest of these guys along, which he can't be doing this, because otherwise Larkin and Moku will jump up ahead of Papa and they will lose that constructors. That will be confirmed that they will lose that constructors. Rich needs to try it and put on an absolute Mexican Minister of Defense Sergio Perez type-esque defense on the guys behind him, because all the while he's catching up to his teammate, it's allowing the other guys to then catch up to his teammate with that 3-second time penalty. So yeah, I think Rich, even though he feels like he might be benefiting his teammate by keeping these guys behind, the way that he's catching up to them means that he's just losing them up with the constructors.
We know how quick Larkin is in a race. You're definitely in Woki as that podium mistakes, and they're also good for him. And also, if you keep back for is Ivory Mike's 10-second penalty. Now, Mikey, if he can pick up the pace, if he can gain 3 or 4 seconds, and he'll be within Mike's penalty range. So that's another thing to keep out for. So these little factors, it's amazing how such little facts can decide a thing, as Papa has to get his move done on Cam, really. He has to try and just somehow make this work for him and try and somehow get 4th, which would be a tall order. Ivory Mike gets another penalty, and that is going to allow Mikey to get into 10th place as things stand.
Yeah, well, it's literally teetering on the edge. I think he's in fact 13.4 seconds behind Ivory Mike, so Mikey needs to pick up the pace a bit more.
Ivory Mike's got 16 seconds of penalty.
Oh, well, then, yeah, he does jump up ahead of him anyway, then that's fine. So, yeah, Mikey really needs to just try and hold on where he is at the moment, just stay in that position and keep up with the pace that he's got at the moment, because of the way it is going, the way that Rich is catching up to his teammate and dragging the rest of them in it. I mean, Moki's now within the 3-second range of Papa Squanch as well, so Rich dragging these two along is losing the Williams, the constructors. Rich needs to essentially back off.
Yeah, no, it's weird to think about it there, but yeah, it's hard to do. As guys behind this is such an interesting. This is the thing with DRS. As I'm bored with Papa here, I'll tell you what, Cam is not going to be easy guy to overtake. He is a rapid down the straight. Yeah, but no, Rich is very close to DRS of Cam, and this is just going to cement, I think, Williams' downfall in the constructors here, because I just don't see how Papa's going to get a move done on Cam. He's going to have to be very creative. He's going to have to do an Alex Albon send, I think, because that Williams just looks so quick down the straight.
Well, he's now within the DRS of his teammate. Papa Squanch is trying to find any way which he can to get the move done on the American out in front of him, but again, Cam is just putting the car in the right places at the moment and not allowing Papa Squanch an inch or a sniff at getting up ahead of him. So that 3-second time penalty is dropping in behind his teammate Larkin and Moki, because they're now all within that DRS range of Papa Squanch. Rich at least will jump up into 5th, but Papa will jump down to 8th position. As you say, Mikey will also get the jump on Ivory Mike, as he's now actually 14.6 seconds. Mike is actually doing a very good job of trying to stay up ahead of Mikey in terms of penalty wise. He's almost in the DRS of these guys out in front of him, as a little bit further behind Larkin might be eyeing up a move on Rich for 6th position. Again, that will jump that even further down for the Williams boys.
Yeah, and I wonder if Rich is quicker than Papa. I think Rich is going to get the middle here and Papa. I wonder if Papa may have to play minutes of defence for Rich here. If I was Williams guys, I'd swap these cars, but you can't really do that with 2 cars behind you. This is a nightmare situation for the Williams team.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Larkin looking to try and get a move done on Rich out in front of him. He did it in the first stint. He hasn't been able to do it yet in this final stint. We've only got 5 laps left to go before our champion is crowned, which is looking like it's going to go the way of Morgan in the very lead of the race. He's 13 seconds up ahead of Solau as Welsh Benjamin picks up a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, he is 13 seconds up ahead of Solau and being in an absolute class of his own. And I can't even lie, Solau has been a very good, has had a very good race himself as well. 12 and a bit seconds up ahead of his teammate in 3rd position.
Yeah, Solau must be thinking, what have I got to do to win a race?
Yeah.
He drives a great race. He's 12 seconds. He's way ahead of Papa, and Morgan's just on another level. Solau must be thinking, is he just cursed forever? He's just cursed forever. As Cam's doing a great job here for the Aston Martin team, ironically enough. I don't think Cam's that quick, but because he's so quick down the straight, it's just impossible for these guys to pass. And now they're all on the train. There's Ivory Mike's not be long to Ivory Mike's on this train. And you know what? This may allow Mikey to somehow. No, Mikey's too far back, so I'm getting himself there. But Rich has just got a Papa just doesn't have the pace to overtake Cam, and that's gonna. He lets Rich through. That had to happen.
Yeah, so here's the change. No. There is the change. Papa and Rich changing the positions. Rich is now going to try and run away. Papa Squanch is going to try and hold these 2 back as much as possible, so that they aren't under threat. But the thing is that if Papa goes back too far, Mike will end up he's got 16 seconds worth of penalty, so that's nothing that you can do about that. But look who else is also closing up. It's the other Red Bull as well, Jamie. Jess is now only 4.5 seconds behind Mike and is starting to close up to the back of this little pack here herself. So, yeah, Papa can't drop back too much. Otherwise, Jess is another person that's going to jump up ahead of the Williams man. So Papa needs to try and play this right. He's managed to let his teammate go, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for Williams to clinch this.
No, it's a Rich has to get the move done on Cam, and Rich is out of DRS actually of Cam, interesting enough. Cam's maybe found some pace later on in the race as Rich now, he's got clean air from his teammate. Now can he close on the McLaren man in the middle sector to have DRS as Mulkey's very close like a Larkin actually, so not much overtaking going on, but it's quite intriguing to see the strategy involved here. Has got a yellow flag, that is Welsh Benjamin in the wall. Is he going to recover? Yes, he does. He managed to recover, so he should still get a point. Yeah, he has a spin there, but he should be all right. And if I was him, I'd pit now and stick to that soft one and just go for a fast lap. He's got nothing to lose. Larkin gets past Papa there. Papa's going to fight around the outside. He's going to bang wheels here, and Larkin is through into 6th place.
He certainly is, but he hasn't got the DRS to Rich out in front of him. He's managed to hold off that much time for his teammate, but Larkin is now passed. Papa's going to try and use his ERS to go for the move back again on Larkin. Larkin's going to go defensive on the inside in towards turn number 1. The championship contender is looking to try and go and get the move done. He certainly is being able to get the move done, and Larkin stays up ahead of Papa Squanch, but Papa's going to have another dose of DRS and he's going to try and look to go around the outside in towards turn number 4. I think the championship contender is going to be able to get this move done, and Larkin not going to be able to do much about it. Moke was going to try and follow through, but Larkin completely shuts the door on him there. Papa goes quite deep though, and Larkin swoops it down the inside. Bit of a switchback from the Red Bull driver, and Papa Squanch is now going to try and move it around the outside, try to do what Larkin couldn't do. Go around the outside of the double right-handers, and I think he's managed to hold it, but Larkin holding it down the inside of Papa Squanch here. Both wheel-to-wheel racing, very good defensive driving and aggressive driving from the pair of them, but Larkin holds on up ahead of Papa Squanch, and this is kind of what Rich needs, but at the same time it can't be what he needs because Jess is almost within that 3-second gap between himself and Papa Squanch.
Yeah, if someone's on the Williams team, you got to tell Papa to pick the pace up here because Jess is very close to, and now Papa, he's going to have to go for it. He's going to get the move done as Rich is nowhere near taking Cam. So this is so interesting. This is so interesting to see what's going to happen here. As Papa's going to go on the outside here. This scrapping is just costing them both time, loads of time in fact. And now Papa is through, but he's running deep here. Papa has not got the confidence to break and getting the move done. As As they're going to go side by side. Yeah, Larkin on DRS, and he'll be ahead, I believe. Yeah, Larkin's going to be on DRS here, and yeah, Jess is now. Look how close Jess is now. Jess is surely within 3 seconds now of these guys. Once his timing settles down after the fighting, and now it's all on Rich to try and get
Still
moved on
going.
Cam here. Yeah, so going side by side, Red Bull and Williams, and now Papa does stay ahead, but Jess is now within 3 seconds, I believe. So yeah, this is crucial. Going to drop to 9th place as things stand.
Yeah, in fact, it will actually go. Yeah, 9th place will be where Papa Squanch will go down to, and yeah, this has been a complete race to forget. As Mike was looking down the inside of Mokri in towards that deep right-hander. Mokri, by the way, almost losing out the DRS to those two, which would have been crucial for Papa Squanch. I think that's what you would have needed. He needed either Bryn Mike to try and go for a bit of an audacious move on Mokri so that he can try and get that gap up ahead.
Got Rich going with Cam here. Not quite. Can Rich get a good exit here? This is the only chance to get a good exit through the centre S. Cam gets a decent exit here. I believe Cam might have his cover. Yeah, Rich does not have the traction at all, so Cam going to hang on to 4th place unless Rich does ascend somewhere.
Certainly does, but we turn our eyes over to this man here. He has had 4 wins in a row. He has had podium ever since round number 5. He has put the fight over to Papa Squanch for the past few races, and he has now emerged victorious on that. It will be Morgan who takes the championship for the P2 tier, and it's looking like the Aston Martins might end up taking the constructors as well. We've only got half a lap to figure that one out, but Morgan will be the P2 champion. Solau will take 2nd at Brazil. What an incredible drive that was from him. But he is just, it just wasn't enough to best out Morgan as well. Jacob will take 3rd position, and it's looking like Cam will take 4th position in the end. Where is Papa going to finish in relation to everybody else here? He crosses the line. Mokri, Larkin, Jess all jump up ahead of Papa. So Papa will finish in 9th. Rich ended up finishing in 5th. And Mikey should jump up ahead of either Bryn Mike to give the Aston Martin the win of the constructors.
Yeah, that happened quite late on because Mike had the obviously the 16-second penalties. So the moment we're going to have, I believe we let's work this out. So Mikey he'll get 3 points for 10th, and Morgan will get 21 points. So that'll be 24, and Papa Squanch will get 10 points. Rich will get 10 points for 5th, and Papa Squanch will get 4 points for 9th. So
is that 24 points? Sorry,
24 points.
Yeah, 24 for Aston Martin and 14. Was that 14 for Williams?
Yeah, I think Williams, by my calculations, Williams have won it by 1 point. Obviously, so but to do hang on. So just about hang on, Williams. That was too close to call, though. I wouldn't want to be that close there. But my calculations, obviously, will get confirmed later on. But my calculations, Williams have won the constructors by 1 point. But what is not in doubt is that Morgan has won this championship by a long way. Got Salah in 2nd, great drive by him. Jacob in 3rd, good recovery after his spin. Cam in 4th, Rich in 5th, Larkin 6th, Woke in 7th, Jess in 8th, Papa Squanch in 9th, Mikey in 10th, Ivory Mike 11th, more points for him. Ross Benjamin in 12th with the fast lap out. Ivory Mike actually has a fast lap outside top 10, so he gets another point. Ross Benjamin in 12th, and Kinney was our only DNF tonight.
Certainly was. So we know, obviously, our driver champion, Morgan. Big congratulations to yourself for taking the P2 championship. What a drive that's been, what a battle it's been between himself and Papa Squanch all season. I'm sure there'll be some words in the Discord between the pair of them as well, which would be nice to see. But yeah, what a race that was to kick the final race of the season here, Jamie. One final time, who is your sim racing setup driver of the day?
I'd say it's probably the most obvious nomination in history, most obvious nominations, but to win the race by the margin he did, under the pressure of the championship fight, and he was behind. Remember, he was behind going into USA, quite a bit behind, and he's driven beautifully since then with all these wins, and let's say he's clutched out the championship here with with a great end to the season, I'm going to have to go with Morgan. He's won the Climate Race at the end of the season. I'm going to say congratulations, mate, world champion. How much were you flat out today, or could you go on even quicker?
Good question for him, and obviously, once again, congratulations to Morgan for that one. I've got to say for my driver of the day vote, I mean, he drove superbly, and if it weren't for Morgan, it would have been a phenomenal drive from him for taking the win. But I've got to give my one to Solau. I mean, 13 seconds up ahead of his teammate and the rest of the grid. Again, he just drove a nice, clean race, and it worked out an absolute treat for him. I've got to say, my question for Solau, if Morgan wasn't in the race, that would have been the first race win. Are you a bit gutted in relation to that? And, you know, did you feel that Morgan may have made a mistake in the front and could have looked for a race win, or was you thinking second place was just going to be the best you were going to get for this evening? So, yeah, that's the final Sim Racing Setups driver of the day. Jamie, any final thoughts to cap off the end of this season for P2 side?
Yeah, obviously at the front it was just congratulations to Morgan on jobs. Commiserations to Papa, had a great season. Congratulations to Salah in third. Yeah, another podium for him, very consistent. Them top three were definitely great. And well done to Williams for winning constructors by 1 point. Very narrow, tight margins, great to see. And obviously, fantastic. Going to enjoy this break. And obviously, a thank you, Jake Hall, for being my partner this season. I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, hopefully we can do it again sometime in the future. And I wish you the best luck in the P1 race day. Hopefully you can maybe secure the constructors for your McLaren team.
Appreciate that as well. And obviously a big thank you to all of the admins, including yourself, Jamie, as well. You know, commentating alongside me for the P2 side of things. I do appreciate it. I say all the admins for putting this on and obviously picking me for one of the commentators for the P2 side. The drivers as well. Obviously, without them, we wouldn't be able to really showcase anything. And of course, everybody that has watched throughout the whole of the P2 side of things. Again, it doesn't go unnoticed. We do very much appreciate that. Make sure you guys are sticking around though. In about 5 minutes time, we kick off one final time in the P1 side of things. Ben Mills versus Kieran for that championship. You do not want to miss that. I appreciate everybody that has tuned in throughout the season, and we will catch you guys next time. So thank you very much for tuning in.